lots of women are calling bullshit on Blake Lively. Like, that's just what you see. And look, if you're Blake Lively and you get a text message of this guy Jed saying we are crushing it on Reddit, then yeah, I can understand that paranoia, but that's not enough to win a lawsuit, right? They're gonna have to provide that proof.
How about your post should be, I'm sorry. I believed Blake like everyone else when the civil complaint was filed in California, and then 2 days later, the New York Times writes this article. Read this New York Times thing I told everyone. It's horrible. It's terrible. Why doesn't anyone just say, I made a mistake? I think we live in a world, we're out of cancel culture now. I think. But we live in a world where if you say you're sorry, I just believe that
Blake Lively just got caught red-handed lying under oath, and the jury is absolutely furious. This isn't some celebrity gossip drama. This is real courtroom perjury with felony charges that could send her to prison for years. The woman who built her career on being America's sweetheart just proved she's nothing but a manipulative liar, willing to destroy innocent people for her own gain. And Justin Baldoni, the man she tried to frame, is finally getting his vindication. The whole mess started when Blake took the witness stand thinking she could charm her way through testimony like it was another red carpet interview.
The Wayfair Party's vengeful and rambling lawsuit against Blake Lively is a profound abuse of the legal process that has no place in federal court. The law prohibits weaponizing defamation lawsuits like this one to retaliate against individuals who have filed legal claims or have publicly spoken out about harassment and retaliation. The right to seek legal redress and the right of the press to report on it are sacred principles that are protected by multiple privileges, including the litigation and fair report privileges, which are absolute. So their argument is, you're not allowed to sue us back because we filed this harassment suit. I mean, it's like punching someone and then they don't get a chance to return the blow. So here's what Justin Baldoni's power attorney Brian Friedman is saying.
Judge Eleanor Whitman made it crystal clear from the start that lies wouldn't be tolerated. Any dishonesty under oath would carry full legal consequences. But Blake heard that warning and apparently thought it was just another movie script. She had no idea she was about to face 12 real people who don't care about her Hollywood status or designer outfits. The jury wasn't impressed by her act either. These weren't starstruck fans or industry insiders. They were regular working people who left their jobs to serve justice. A civil engineer, retired teacher, former Navy officer, 2 single moms, and others who could smell fake tears from miles away. And Blake absolutely reeked of lies from the moment she opened her mouth. Every calculated sob and rehearsed gesture only made them angrier at her obvious manipulation attempts. Then Daniel Harper dropped the nuclear bomb that changed everything. Harper wasn't some random extra or disgruntled employee. He was the assistant director of It Ends With Us who worked directly under Baldoni and saw everything that happened on set.
Right, because she's arguing in her motion to dismiss, hey, I filed a harassment complaint against Baldoni. He cannot sue me in retaliation. If Justin Baldoni can prove that she filed that claim for some malicious intent, then maybe he'll have a shot at it. But some people are saying, hey, she could get off on some sort of technicality here.
Blake thought she could buy his silence and testimony for $50,000. The receipts were devastating. Bank statements showing a conveniently timed consulting payment just 2 weeks before Harper was supposed to testify. Direct deposit records, threatening voicemails, and text messages telling him he didn't want to make things uglier. The audio recordings of Blake's threats played in court like a mafia audition tape. Her voice promising Harper would never have to worry about money again if he lied for her. The jury sat there with their mouths hanging open as they heard Blake casually discuss witness tampering like it was a business deal. One woman looked physically sick. The judge slammed her gavel so hard that people in the gallery jumped. Blake tried to stay calm, but her left eye was twitching like a broken alarm clock. This wasn't a minor mistake. This was felony witness tampering under California Penal Code 136.1.
Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. What happened was, and again, everyone's doing this. No one wants to be in this trial, of course. Blake Lively's publicist asked to be removed from lawsuit, defends actress against Justin Baldoni's claims. I'm going to get into what Justin Baldoni's lawyer had to say and what Blake's team is saying, because every day there's more to the drama, and I'm going to get into all of this happening next. So we have Blake Lively accusing Justin Baldoni of retaliating with his lawsuit on her, and then we have Justin Baldoni's lawyer saying Blake is abusing the system. To be quite honest, everyone I meet's Team Blake. I mean, other than Taylor Lorenz. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni. I got that wrong. Everyone's Team Justin Baldoni.
Blake's performance as an abuse victim was even more pathetic than her bribery attempts. She sobbed on the stand, claiming Baldoni had emotionally abused her starting in early 2022. She described him as controlling and explosive, saying she had to journal everything just to survive his manipulation and gaslighting. It sounded heartbreaking until Baldoni's legal team brought out the digital wrecking ball that destroyed her entire narrative. Text messages between Blake and Baldoni from the exact time period she claimed to be suffering abuse. Smiling selfies, brunch photos, and messages calling him the only director who ever understood her.
People forgive you and you'll be okay.
Justin Baldoni's power attorney Brian Friedman is saying Blake is abusing the legal system, slams her motion to dismiss the suit. They're firing back at her attempt to cut herself out of the ongoing legal drama surrounding the film It Ends With Us. Brian Friedman, power attorney, tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster she initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal systems. Friedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda. TMZ broke the story that Blake filed her motion to dismiss, saying Baldoni violated the law by filing his own lawsuit in the purpose of revenge. Blake says Baldoni filed his defamation suit against her, her husband, and everyone else after she filed his. And of course, when she filed her lawsuit onto him, obviously he's going to take a hit from that career-wise. So his response is like, you're defaming me by doing that. And she's saying, well, you can't even respond.
The forensic evidence was absolutely damning. Instagram DMs joking about coffee orders, playlists titled for my favorite collaborator, and dozens of friendly exchanges that proved Blake was thriving, not surviving. Clinical psychologists tore apart her abuse timeline piece by piece, finding inconsistencies in her descriptions and stolen passages in her personal journals. One entry dated March 14, 2022 was lifted word for word from a therapy workbook available on Amazon for $15.99. Blake couldn't even lie originally. She was now facing multiple perjury charges under California Penal Code 118, each carrying up to 4 years in prison and $10,000 fines. But Blake wasn't working alone in this scheme. Ryan Reynolds, Mr. Deadpool himself, was pulling strings behind the scenes despite Blake swearing under oath that he had nothing to do with the case. She claimed he was too busy with gin ads and being everyone's favorite husband to get involved. That lie exploded when leaked emails surfaced showing Ryan actively managing Blake's legal strategy. Messages filled with notes on how to paint Baldoni as unstable and erratic. Ryan even suggested leaking old behind-the-scenes footage of Baldoni yelling during a shoot, completely out of context to stir public sympathy for Blake. The motive wasn't noble protection of his wife. It was petty personal revenge over a shelved Amazon Studios project from 2020. Ryan and Baldoni had a nasty fallout that left Reynolds embarrassed in front of executives. Since then, Ryan had been calling Baldoni unreliable and image-obsessed in texts that were leaked by one of Blake's own assistants who turned whistleblower. While Blake pretended Ryan was just off raising their kids, he was knee-deep in strategy calls and narrative manipulation. This wasn't just marital support. This was criminal conspiracy to commit perjury. The jury's reaction to discovering Ryan's involvement was pure disgust. One juror literally muttered, "Are you kidding me?" while others shook their heads like they were watching a bad reality show. Judge Whitman didn't hold back either. Her voice was ice cold as she explained that any attempt to influence proceedings with outside interference was a direct assault on the integrity of the judicial process. No exceptions for celebrity or marriage. Blake started blinking rapidly like she was trying to manually reset her brain. The woman looked like she was buffering while her entire defense strategy collapsed in real time. These 12 jurors deserve a standing ovation for their incredible work. They requested over 300 pages of email records, timeline charts, and psychological profiles during deliberations. One juror even spotted a date inconsistency in Blake's abuse journal that the prosecution had missed. They were focused and thorough, treating this case with the seriousness it deserved. In post-trial interviews, juror number 6 said they wanted to believe her but couldn't reward lies with justice. Another added that her fame meant nothing to them, only her evidence did. They surgically dismantled the image of a Hollywood starlet brick by brick. Blake is now facing the consequences of her lies in the most brutal way possible. 3 felony counts of perjury, 1 count of witness tampering, and subornation of perjury charges that could mean 12 years in prison if served consecutively. That's not including the $40,000 in cumulative fines and the complete destruction of her career. Legal analysts confirm that cases with this level of deception rarely end in just probation. When lies are stacked this high, judges lean toward exemplary punishment to set precedents, especially when defendants make mockeries of the system on national news. Blake's fall from grace is complete and permanent.